Bree with Califia Candle Company, and today's video is going to be sort of a Q&A style video. I posted a few days ago asking you guys to jot down any questions you had, and I did get a few, and then I thought I would just throw in some questions that I get asked frequently too. And before I start the video, I did want to say that if you like my shirt, I designed it myself, and I have this one and also a few other designs on my website now. When you go to the shop button, there's an apparel section. And so this and then a few other designs are in there as well. It is from a third party, so I just want to say that the shipping time and cost is completely separate from mine. So just know that if you're going to purchase anything. But I think they're really cute, and I do have a cat's coffee and candles one too if you're more of a cat person. But yeah, just check it out. I'll have it linked down below. And without further ado, let's jump in. So I will be looking at my phone because that's where I have the questions jotted down. The first one is, have you ever thought about making your own molds? And I thought that was a great question. I have thought about that. It is something I've been meaning to look into. I just haven't found the time to do it. But I have seen quite a few people do it successfully on the DIY concrete page. So it is something I definitely would like to look into. Just trying to find the time to do it is another thing. But yeah, I'd be interested to learn how to do that and just know the process of what goes into making the mold itself. And I don't know, I feel like that would be fun to learn. So definitely something on my to-do list for this year. Another question was, do you have trouble with wick stickers sticking to the concrete? And I personally do not. My wick stickers are from Lone Star Candle Supply. It's the only wick stickers I've ever tried, and I've never had an issue with that. So I don't know if it depends on the brand of wick stickers you're using, or also if you're leaving your concrete jars out for a long time before pouring the candles, they can collect dust at the bottom. And I know with other jars and tins, we like to use alcohol to clean that out, but I would advise against that with the concrete jars just because it might ruin the sealer. So I would say if you do notice any dust in your jars, or if they have just been sitting for a while and you want to clean them out before you put the wick in, just take a dry cloth and just wipe them out real quick, and that should do the trick. I honestly don't even really do that. I don't generally leave them sitting out for too long before I make candles. But if for some reason they do appear to be dusty, then I will just take a cloth and just give them a quick wipe through, a dry cloth, make sure it's not wet, and that should be fine. But yeah, I've never had any issues with them not sticking to the concrete. Okay, another question was, what do the jars look like on the inside after the candle has burned all the way down? If you wanted to pour another candle in it, could you? Not to sell, but just for testing. That is a great question. And yes, you can definitely reuse your jars for another candle. In fact, I did that every time I was wick testing. And because I wick tested at the half jar. I learned that in the coconut group because that's the hottest burning point of your candle, is the halfway point. So if you pour your testers at the half jar and you do your wick testing there, it's just easier and more efficient than waiting for your candle to burn all the way down from the top. And you're also saving wax during testing as well. So a lot of the times I would do the half jar, it would get down to the bottom, and I wanted to reuse the jar for testing because it just takes so much time to make more jars. So I would just melt down the rest of the wax with a heat gun, or you can also use alcohol to get out the residual wax, but I would just be cautious with that in regards to messing up the sealer on the inside of the jar. So if you are going to use alcohol, I would say maybe do another coat of sealer before you add any more wax into it, just to make sure it's not going to seep. But yes, you can definitely reuse your jars. I will try to insert footage if I have any of my candles burning down and what the inside of the jar looks like. The wax definitely leaves a little bit of a stain on the inside of the jars, but it's not a big deal to me. But yeah, great question. Definitely repurpose your jars, at least for testing, and also just for anything around the house. pencil holders, pen holders, desk organizers. There's so many different things that you can repurpose your jars with. Okay, next question. Do you ever have problems with sooting in concrete jars? And I would say during my wick testing days, I did. And that was because it was overwicked. So that generally is the reason for sooting when you're burning candles, is because the wick is too big. So once I sized down my wicks and tried smaller wicks, the sooting went away. But I have experienced that during testing on my jars. It is easy to remove just with a paper towel, but of course you want to try to avoid that if you can. So it just could be from overwicking, especially with my wax. I found, since it's a coconut wax, they do like smaller wicks. So once I sized down my wicks, the sooting issue went away. Speaking of wicks, that brings me to the next question. What wicks do you use for your candles? And I do have to say, this is the one thing that I get hesitant about sharing. I have no problem sharing everything that I do and use, just because I feel like the candle market is so saturated that if somebody were to go out and copy everything that I do, the way my jars look down to the label, it's not going to steal business away from me because it's such a saturated market. So that's why I have no problem sharing everything with you guys, and I just love making videos to help you and just relatable videos for, you know, a small business owner of a candle business. But that's the one thing that I just get hesitant about, because it depends on so many different factors. Just because these wicks work for me doesn't mean they're going to work for you. It depends on your wax, your fragrance oil, your fragrance load, your vessel, your diameter. All of those things affect wicking majorly. So that's just why I get hesitant on sharing that information. And also because I know most people aren't this way, but some people do just want that easy answer. They just want to be given all of the information and try to get this all done as quick as possible. And that's just not the case when it comes to candle making. It definitely takes time trying to get wicking down. I spent so many months wick testing, so many months, so much time and energy researching, and I even drove myself to the point of tears a couple times because I just was having so much difficulty with wicking. And I finally just had to keep telling myself that I don't know if I believe there is a perfect wick for your candle. I don't know that there's just one wick, that's it. Like, this is it, this is the wick, I finally found it, it's perfect, it has no problems. And I just had to go what was working the best out of everything that I was testing. And for me, that was the CDN series. The numbers obviously depend because brain fart. The numbers depend on the fragrance oil that I'm using, but I do use the CDN series. I just found those to work the best for me during all my testing. But again, I don't know that those are the perfect wicks. So it's something that I think you can always test and work on improving. But if you're gonna hold yourself up over that and just delay getting your business started for years, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. Like, I just had to accept that these are what works best right now, but do I think they're 100% perfect? No. Do I think they're close to perfect? Yeah, so that's what I went with. Of course, my camera just cut me off, but basically the point of it is you have to do your own testing. And also, I wouldn't necessarily hold yourself from launching for too long because you feel like you haven't found the perfect wick, but at the same time, don't go too quick that you're rushing things and it ends up being the completely wrong wick, if that makes sense. So that is my best answer for that. I feel like I need to lower this desk quite high. Also, I just watched this footage back and I need to work on my posture. I feel like I was slouching so bad. Terrible at that. So somebody else said, I'm having trouble finding SP487 in stock at Swans. Is there another wax you recommend I can use with the coconut wax? And my answer for this is don't feel like you have to add a secondary wax. The only reason I do was to make wicking easier for me because Coconut 83 is such a soft wax. Adding a little bit of a harder wax definitely helps with wicking, but it doesn't necessarily do anything for the hot throw or anything like that. So any harder type of wax will do. You can try adding beeswax, you can try Gulf wax, you can try paraffin if you're not opposed to that. And yeah, it doesn't have to be SP 487, that's just what I like to use. But also, I think there are a couple other suppliers that have that wax. Sunshine Candle Supply, I know, carries it. I think they have it on their Etsy. And there might be another one, I can't think of it at the moment. But yeah, definitely Google that and see if you can find it in stock elsewhere. I know Swans, it's been out of stock for a while. I'm glad I stocked up on it because it hasn't been in stock for a bit. Okay, I'm gonna make this one the last question just because I don't want this video to be too long. Somebody said, oh, I lost it. There we go. How long did it take you to get consistent sales? Did you do anything for marketing? So I would say I'm still not really at the point of getting consistent sales. I definitely get at least a couple a week, sometimes more, but it's not super consistent yet, which is totally fine. I'm still a brand new business. I haven't even been launched for a year yet. So I'm not really expecting to get too consistent of sales at this point, but I will say what has helped a ton, and this also kind of answers your second question, is social media. I haven't done any marketing besides social media, and one thing that has really helped my business is Reels. And I was slacking on this for so long. One of my goals for this year was to start posting more Reels. And I've been doing that, and some of them have gone viral. One's almost at 1 million views, I think, and then a couple other ones are at 200,000 or 300,000. And I've gained a lot of followers on Instagram from that. And I've also gotten a couple sales too. So definitely don't sleep on Reels and just social media in general. Instagram specifically, I think a lot of people use Instagram. Facebook too. I just have my Instagram linked to Facebook, so whatever I share on there gets shared on my Facebook page too. But yeah, I try to post frequently on social media to just get my business out there, and I think that's one of the best tools for marketing that you can do. I did pay a while ago for a Facebook ad. I spent like $10 on it, I think, but it didn't get me any sales, and it just didn't do much, so probably won't do that again. But Instagram definitely has been huge for me. Again, just the Reels. I think that is probably one of the best things you can do right now. I think social media is starting to gear more towards videos more than photos, I would say. So I think people really enjoy watching videos, especially like background things, behind the scenes type footage. Like I like to post videos of me pouring concrete. A lot of people seem to like those. I don't know why. It is kind of satisfying, I guess, watching the concrete pour into the mold, but those are the reels that get the most views. So definitely social media is the #1 marketing tool that I think you can use for your business. Well, that's all I'm going to answer today just because I don't want the video to be too long for you guys, but I will probably do a part 2 sometime soon. So if you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you guys in the next video. Hope you have a wonderful day.